today is day 325? Yeah, it is. Day 325 of the year of streaming and learning to code. We are continuing on with project number 6, mouse position. Okay, let's do this. I believe we are all situated. You know what, let's do a brief rundown. It's been a while. We've got mic audio, check, cool, webcam, golden. We have our project number 6, mouse position. Let's go ahead and crack open our example code, as well as our project. Nice. There's that. Once again, mouse position, we're wanting to be able to click at any given point and create objects, different types, different characteristics, varying opacity, size, color, and whatnot. Also squares that float upwards, and then the circles that kind of bounce on an arc from their point source where we clicked, and they fall to the kind of gravitate towards the bottom of the screen, as we can clearly see. Then for ours, currently, ta-da, there we go, there we go. Okay, we also have chat open. We are set to embark and continue on with day 325. 40 more days left. That's kinda awesome. It's a little cool. I did not expect to have a day 325. So, now, with that said though, we should go ahead and try and make some progress on day 325. We have our HTML, our CSS, we got the ball rolling with create shape, and we have our JavaScript. Now, we tried to connect some dots yesterday. I was trying to get to the point. Let me go ahead and open up the developer console here in Chrome. View, developer, JavaScript console. We have at least our first random number generator. I think I'm really not sure how I want to utilize the random number generator. I think we will set up somewhat of either a switch case scenario or like a shapes statistics or shape criteria function where we call random multiple times. And maybe within the multiple time, maybe we'll have multiple switch cases. I'm still trying to come to terms with what the actual best way of collecting the data and those random values. What to do. Even though we have shape here, we have an event listener. Kind of get rid of that. When there is a click within the window, let's do mouse events. JavaScript. Click. Find an event to a click handler. Catalog. Click context menu, hover, mouse leave, mouse over, mouse up, and toggle. Bind 2 or more handlers to the matched elements to be executed on alternate clicks. Oh, like a button, like on, kind of locks it, and then off. Okay. Um, like when you're playing, an FPS or something, and you can toggle to crouch, or you can usually change in the settings. Hold the key to maintain crouched or prone, or toggle it like a button. Click it, stay crouched, free to move, and then you can click again to stand and whatnot, versus just having to hold it, stay crouched. So noted, noted. At least that's my only reference for toggle. Now, what to look for here? I think click on the window is what we're looking for, but maybe window is too broad. Now that we've spread out HTML and body, maybe it should be body add event listener and click. Because where is this taking place? This is taking place for event. That's taking place for event, which is the window listener. I was wanting to add create shape or square, whatever it is, here, but that may not be the case. Circle, square, circle, square. We'll have our random number. Random number. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Nonsense. Right? It's been a while since we've had that. We have our math.random. I want to put it into a function where when we call it, whatever this may be, I want to call random twice. I want to have basically like a circle object of sorts. And a square of sorts. The reason why, and I'm actually going to set square on top. Okay, bear with me. Bear with me again. We're in the nonsense area of this nightmare. Okay, so we've got random. From up here to get a random number. We'll need to change the values, I think, maybe, possibly. Let's think about that. Equal. Yeah, I can't even remember if it's equals or if it's other curly braces or whatnot. I don't even remember the proper syntax. That's the thing that I find so odd or different or interesting. I don't know if it's similar to like a muscle memory or just context or the environment or the method, but I had done all those different languages in the beginning, all the different kind of, every 2 weeks, I'd essentially be starting a different thing, whether it was uh, Ruby or Python or PHP. There was something always different for the first like 150 days, every like week and a half to 2 weeks, basically, as I moved through a course. And that was all very short day to day stuff. And that was fine. Kind of a broad tasting menu, if you will, of different languages. But then, as we jumped from there to Code Wars, that was the first place where we really like focused on trying to continue to use the same language, tools, and skill set. And they did progress. The katas, the levels, and the challenges got harder, and we were able to build upon. There was a lot of the same ideas and processes that followed over from one challenge to another. Similar with these projects that even Topher set up. There's things that we've already done and set up in previous projects, usually within each. They've kind of built upon each other quite nicely and have, grown and expanded for what we need to do to fully complete them. But anyways, so there was the many different views and things to acquire and experience at Code Academy. Then Code Wars is where we started to chip away consistently to start to hone one skill. It was different because it was the challenge environment and not quite just go at your own, you're kind of unbound. And then we started to relive learning the fundamentals all over again in a particular order in little snippets at Free Code Camp. Very similar to how Code Academy was, slightly different method and pacing and whatnot. But again, that was still pretty. I think they kind of held on to JavaScript in what we did. I mean, we did use jQuery and whatnot, and some other consistent Bootstrap. There was that other stuff, but I think JavaScript was still a fairly large portion of the early parts of the Free Code Camp learning curve and experience, which was good. But in doing all of these projects, since it isn't the same, I mean, it is JavaScript and CSS and HTML, but I think it's because it's the option. Even though Topher has given us this example code, it shows the start point of the instructions. And although these are rules, it's more like guidelines and suggestions. There's still a lot of room for interpretation and creativity here, which is good. That's the important part. That's also what I like about this, as much as these are curated projects, like, do this, ta-da, it is still my own project, clearly, but that's the part that I've been struggling with, and that I never, over the 300, 9 months, it was, we did nine whole months. It was only in October, the 10th month, before we started exercising that creativity, and not so much just creativity, but that skill set of determining how are we going to tie all of these loose ends. Where do we want to start? What do we want to focus on? And all of that, almost like not even self-control, but something, I'm missing the words, but this whole bit right here, how are we going to piece it together? That bit was essentially never exercised in any of the other tutorial sites. The later portions of the projects for Free Code Camp had the potential, and it's there to kind of pull it off with the projects, but it's not even quite the same as this. Their instructions were still even slightly more detailed. I think they could have I guess for those dedicated users, they could have gone the extra mile, but this basically starts you in that extra mile territory. And that's also I'm still, especially as we go deeper into the projects, you know, this is project number 6, this is the halfway point, and it's been interesting. And I'm still not quite used to that, figuring out what's to come next. Which direction and avenue should we pursue? It's always a toss-up. Obviously, set up the HTML first, then focus on the JavaScript, and then kind of polish this. But since this project has these different CSS objects, it's like, I don't, there's so many loose ends and different things trying to regulate and determine that skill set, in which these projects are all exercising that skill set. But yeah, I can feel it. My mind is cooking. My mind is cooking, trying to come to terms with this. Anyways, finding the right path and what the proper stepping stone is. Alright. Well, that was quite the tangent. Not sure if that was beneficial or not, but that's a thing, so that's what's going through my head. I'm pretty sure this is wrong, for what I've got set up. I think those should probably be square or something to that degree. But, anyways, we've got this. You have circle and square. It's going to have different values. It will have a height. It's not just going to be height. That's the other thing. It will be document get item. Copy. Yeah, we'll call it square. It will be style. Dot height. See, here we go. So height equals, I think in quotes, if I'm not mistaken. God, I can't remember, but I do believe it is in quotes. Even the values, because I'm pretty sure when we did style display, and if we did, you know, display none, I think none was still in quotes. So I'm pretty sure if we do like, you know, 100 pixels, I'm pretty certain. We can check back on old ones, but anyways, that's that height. Just a hunch. Oh, there's this style. So square, copy, 1, 2, 4. Style height is 100. Well, we don't know. Actually, we don't know at all. What will it be? It will be random. That's what it'll be. Which is odd. So, I don't know if that will work. Random. And then in quotes? Like, how am I gonna pull this off? Is it will call whatever this is. Maybe variable square height. S height. Yes. Shite. That's what it'll be. Can equal. That's not how we spell anything. Random. But if that's a number, we need to turn it into a string. Oh god, little kitty. She's not even near us. Pretty sure she's napping in the abyss of the darkness. And she's somewhere up there. And let's check on her because we can. See that little white spot? There, where my phone is. That's her sleeping at the foot of the bed. Okay. Oh, what to do? What to do? What to do? Let's continue on with our confusion. I guess 2 random 2 ring. That right? 2 string. JavaScript 2 string. Object 2 string. Blah 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 blah. Neat. So good enough. I hope that's all that's needed. And we can test. We can do number. We'll comment out from here. Let's do 2 string up here. So right now, as we can see in the console log, it's just dropping down a 4. 2 string. The other thing from my rant earlier about just kind of the uncertainty is that since it's been slowly, we essentially hit the reset button again for all of these projects, and I had been consistently using the same things earlier on. I got so used to using strings and setting up switch cases and doing the different, you know, variations of for loops and whatnot and processing all that. But since we had moved to Free Code Camp and it had been a while, now we're juggling other aspects of the programming process for making projects. It's not just entirely each day is only JavaScript for a puzzle type question. We're exercising, you know, that part of our skill set in a different way. And I think it's also just frustration that I can't quite remember fully all the details of all the things that I had done before. I definitely think it's a lot better going this way, the path that Topher's provided with all of these projects. Because now it's more personal experience. Again, when I remember or think back on an issue, I think back to one of my personal projects, one of these that we've set up instead of earlier on in the year. It would be, well, when I'd face a new issue and I would remember an old tool, I'd go, what was that thing that I did at Code Academy? Or what was that thing that I did at Code Wars? So now it's mostly moved over into past personal experience with these projects, which I think is the trade-off for not recalling all of the tool sets, but now being able to recall personal experience for these situations. Again, not that that's going to change anything for anyone, but just throwing that out there. This was and still is an exploratory journey on kind of the learning process with no real guide. What happens when one is left to their own devices, so to speak. So that's just throwing some noise out into the ether. That is all. That is all. Okay, we were doing something down here. We added toString. We don't need the extra semicolon in there because that's just weird for everybody. Let's go ahead and save and refresh. See, now it's a 10 and it's no longer, I mean, well, obviously it changed. I mean, look, we'll refresh and it'll be different 7, but it's black. It's not the blue font anymore. So I'm pretty damn sure that is a text, you know, an actual character, not a numeral. So if that's our number toString, and random is that. So random is that function. toString is that. And I think that'll be fine. I think that's fine. So that'll be a string. Which means we can take that and go back down here. Oh. And since it's like a string, if we were to do, you know, instead of 10 pixels or whatever is needed, something like that, this bit will be the 10 for now in a quotes plus pixels. I think, I could be wrong. I may have totally overthought, missed something, but in my mind, I think that is the closest equivalent to, oh damn, to 10 pixels, which also something or other would be similar to this. Ta-da, right? All of that noise. That's what we're dealing with. So we're shooting for that. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Continuing on. So this means we'll be able to handle the number or deal with the number in different ways. Another thing we can do also to get the percentages for stuff. So we've got height here. We can give this width. This will be width. Pixels. What should we do? Add a 0? 1 0 or 2 zeros? If it's I think just 1 0. Because right now we've got 1 through 10, and we can obviously change these values. Again, this is still kind of a quick fix. I'm just kind of trying to piece this whole thing together and figure out how this would actually work. And just like how we would have height and width for that, I think copy for circle, we would have, because here would be like color and it'd also be a random thing. plus a 0 and a percent sign. So, you know, if it's a 3, you know, 1 to 10, if it lands on a 3, 0, 30% opacity. Yeah. And this is just a shot in the dark. I don't even know. My concern, too, was also here. I don't just want a 3 to be everywhere. You know, if it's 3, maybe it does need to be the same. This is why I'm trying to think all this through. So obviously, if we want it to be a square, we can't have it be... I was thinking we need to call it twice, but if we call it twice, we may end up with rectangles. Not that there's anything wrong with rectangles, but instead of squares and circles, if they're the same number, which cuts down on the code, if we call it a second time, variable s width, if it's a different length, and it should probably be random 2-string for all the ones that I did R number 2-string, but you get the point. We'd end up with rectangles. And regardless, I mean, let's just pretend it lands on the same one, which we would need to set these up differently or give it whatever, just the single random number value, and drop that in here. But point is we would end up doing some type of radius. Type thing. Copy. Of color, we would do radius, and we could always just automatically max it out, you know, to where does it cap out at? Is it 50, 25%, 20, 100%? I'm not sure on, I guess it would be 100. Although it goes from top to corner. I thought there was a point where it, percentage-wise, where you really didn't need to exceed it. For some reason, I thought, like, after 25%, if you focus on a single corner, let's say you did a square and you had the top right corner, top left, and whatever, if you wanted a perfect curve as if it was 1/4 of a circle, but you left the 3 corners, but you had one curved corner, I thought there was like a max percentage where you can't have anything more than that circular curve, and I could have sworn it was like 25 or 30% or 50. I didn't think 100% was needed. Not that 100% makes it worse, but anyways, that's all. Yeah. I'm crazy. So, whatever that percentage is, would be there. So, I mean, these would be mostly the same, but it's supposed to change and be different. And again, if we have 2 different height and widths for our circle, it would really be an oval. There's nothing wrong with rectangles and ovals. There's nothing wrong with calling each one individually. It's a 4, that means it would be 40%. So larger circles, let's say we didn't. Let's say we just did one random variable. Random stat, right? We just call it once. And it's the same value for everything. What would that look like if we got a 4, we added a 0 to the 4, that'd be 40 pixels. If it was also a 4 and we added a 0 to that, it would also be 40 pixels wide, so it would be a perfect square. The opacity, whatever you prefer, would be with a 0 and a percent, 40%. So it would be smaller and lighter. We could determine the color somehow. Maybe that the color can be a switch case. And instead of maybe having color separately for both, maybe we could have a single color list, a single color switch case. We could probably do that instead of needing to have two separate ones. Or what I was thinking is actually having like a color array. Color array, red, green, blue, and whatnot, blah, 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 blah. And then we can just do dot length, random, blah, blah, blah down here. Variable. Color equal random. Oh, wait a second. No, what would we do? Color length? Is that right? That can't be right. Color array. See, like, I can't even. This is such a basic thing. This just highlights it, and I think it also has to do. It is a combination of forgetting, but also that I'm trying to juggle so many other things and figure other things out. I'm not focused on what the basics were. There's still so many new things learned in such a different way from the tutorial sites. I'm totally drawing a blank on that. If I wanted red, it would be 0. So it wouldn't be that, it would be color 0 would be red. Color that would be green. Technically it should be orange. I think we'll set it up like the color spectrum, like the rainbow, the way it should be. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, blah, 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 blah. Purple and whatnot. So color blah. Do we need a dot length? I thought we did something with a string before and we used the length. I thought we set up a for loop and some other noise, but maybe I'm wrong. I can't recall. I can't recall. Okay, well, color something that would just be random. I sworn there was a dot length in there. Anyways, 1, 2, 3. That's some mystery. We don't even need to set up switch case, and we'd just be able to reference color. Oh, and of course, these would all have, they'd all be strings. That way, we would be able to just do here, we can call it object color. We should probably do shape color, but for painting a picture here, object color. I probably should have been making this more official the whole time and probably testing as I've gone through all this, but I didn't even know where to begin or what to do, so I'm just like it's like sitting down to a giant jigsaw puzzle, and yes, maybe you solve the corners or set up the base, establish the perimeter, whatever go-to jigsaw puzzle things are for like figuring out the foundation. But now I'm just like clinging to whatever pieces I can find and put together. I'm not sure. I just feel like there's so many loose ends to this particular one. Oddly enough, despite it being project number 6, this is, I think, the least amount of instructions we've had. That's something I noticed. There's no extra credit section, because I think all of it, there's just like one level of get the job done. And usually the extra credit sections are kind of pushing the limits of creativity, this type of stuff. But this whole thing is just one giant pile of needing creativity. And it's such a simple, seemingly simple interface, but there's so much behind it. So it's strange, it's unique. Again, those choices, the many paths to go down are numerous, and I'm just, again, sitting down to the giant pile of jigsaw pieces and just clinging to with whatever I can wrap my mind around. Again, we will need to do a lot of cleanup, factoring, whatnot, but we'll get there. For now, I think this is about as much as my mind can handle. Not this here, we're not calling it quits, but going about it this way. So we'll have all this kind of stuff occurring. Color very well may end up being inside whatever function we have here, whatever we call it. Number referencing. Okay. So color, copy. When does it call that? Does it call it just once? It does call it just once. So it's a random stat. So we could do, again, instead of S height and S width for a square, we could do, if we did have both a separate, we could do R height for rectangle, rectangle width, or rectangle height and rectangle width. If we called it twice, we'd end up with 2 different values. It'd be a rectangle instead of a square. And same thing for our circle we're shooting for, our round object. If we called height and width twice and ended up with 2 different values, but tried to make it as curvy as possible, whatever percentage, 100% for, and I know it's not just radius, but we'll figure out whatever the appropriate type of radius is to reference for this object to make it as round as possible. So again, 2 different height and width values, oval. That's what we're faced with. And we can always hard code it. Always would end up being, you know, 25% or 50 or 100. I kind of think it would just be 100%. Anyways, I was reflecting on what happens if we do only have one value for stat, for height and width. Here it would just be random stat, remind me. Okay, copy, copy, copy. The alternative is random stat, so if we got a 4, it would be, well, 40 pixels. 4, again, 40 pixels, so it'd be square. Random stat here. Also, 4 again, it would, call once. Whatever that random number is for the time it gets called, falls in. So it's 4s across the board. 40 pixels, height and width, small, and 40% opacity, definitely on the lighter side. Very, very see-through. Now, if we got a higher number, like an 8, 1 through 10 instead of 4, we get an 8, and we drop it in, well, that would be 80 pixels. It would be larger, still square, and be 80%, so it would be darker. That means the smaller the circle, the more see-through it is, the larger the circle, the more dense it gets, which does kind of provide a nice balance. I don't know if that's as random and if that will fluctuate as much as Topher was hoping for. Maybe we did somehow maybe we needed to also add in a different opacity, call down here. Or whatnot. That way, if these were the same, this would be an opacity. That way you could have small. That way we could have, or I could have varying small circles. If it ever was small, maybe sometimes it would be 90% opacity versus 20% for small. That does provide more variation. That is a subtle, small, minor change, but produces a much more dramatic effect. See, my other concern is the colors, too. If we just got a couple... Oh, well, it's the opacity that's changing. The kind of shade and tone of the color. Let's go back to the example code. Yeah, green, pinkish, purple. But there's a lot of off colors, like this weird green one, that lighter forest green. That square was a lighter lime green. Like, this is more than just the couple same. Well, actually, maybe it's like the same 9, 10, 12 colors. So maybe it's not. Medium size, smaller, mid. See, that small, the purple one we just made is really, really solid. And the other is this orange one that jumps above mouse position, the title, is roughly the same size and a lot more see-through. I think we should have that separate call. For opacity, I do like the idea of just one number gets attached all the way through. We can also have the multiple calls, height and random. I just don't know if varying rectangles and varying ovals is going to be as aesthetically pleasing as all of this. You know what? Maybe it'll be fine. Maybe instead of bouncing, we can just have them spin. Wherever we click, maybe they can just spin in place. And there's so many different avenues for this project. Oh my god. And I don't know where to begin on any of them, whether it's on the CSS side or the JavaScript side. Again, we're basically doing the CSS values, but establishing them here in Java. That's why I'm like, just mentally, it's so uncertain in my mind right now. Hey, Toasty. Good morning to you, Toasty. We're just here in our turmoil, dealing with what stepping stone to look for next. It is going well. Slightly. But yeah, lots of options. Because see, like, for any specific one of these, I don't know if I need to start hammering away at square up here. This is why we have our nonsense area. Come to terms with what we actually need to be doing, and that means we won't really need kind of the shape stats. We'll be able to, but we'll set up probably, I'd assume, either square and circle or rectangle and oval. We'll see if we fall down the symmetrical rabbit hole or the oblong rabbit hole. Okay. Maybe the multiple calls, the multiple random calls will be good. I think that will actually be fun. So here, copy. Best of my knowledge. String. You know, we could also even concatenate, do the values up there. That way, random stat is simply this. Cut it. We can do it once. That means we can also get rid of it here. We only need to have it in one place. We don't need to keep referencing it. This is the cleanup that we'll get to in the future. But yeah. Interesting. I'm just so... There's so many different avenues. There's so many loose ends. Why do we have so much choice and opportunity available to us? It's overwhelming. This is like going to a restaurant where the menu has everything. People think, oh, just go to whatever restaurant that serves all types of cuisine and just order whatever you need. And that can be comforting at times if you've already got your mind made up. If you're on a mission, you know what's going down. But to those who aren't prepared, no, not helpful. This is why they have specifically Italian restaurants and Chinese restaurants, or going to get pizza, or a sandwich shop. It's like, these are the things that are available, and you just operate within your little realm, versus going to a restaurant that serves all of that stuff. We are not prepared for this much choice right now. And it's cause I don't know what to focus on. There's so many random avenues, I don't know what to build out next. Which is why we're going with our jigsaw frame of mind of just picking up any pieces that we can put together and roll with it. Okay. Also, all of this, get rid of that, that's better. Do that. Let's somehow clean this up, okay? Let's get a handle on square and circle. Because my concern, one, is that I'm not even setting this stuff up correctly, two. And three is that even if I did set this up correctly, what else do I need to add into my code so I can quickly test and verify that I'm creating a shape? Because right now, what I currently did for this function shape, I set up get an element, the shape div here, and I wanted to add to its class list the create shape class. I need to make it a class. I forgot the period. I forgot the period yesterday. That's what it was. See this? That's a create shape like object, like an H1 element. But no, we need a class. Class.main. I forgot the period. I knew we were going to come back and test it yesterday. That was my concern for setting up all of this, was there was no quick, easy way to test, because I couldn't even get this basic square to appear when I did my click. Let's go ahead and save. Let's go ahead and save and test. Add this back. Block that off. Save, save, save. Jump over here. Save, save that. Refresh, and I did it! I did it! Oh my god! Holy shit! We did it. Little kitty just left. I figured it out. I figured it out. We needed the period. All that was missing from last night. Oh. Well, anyways, now that we're supposed to have variable random stuff, I'm glad I'd gone with the jigsaw puzzle method of just trying to work on whatever I could piece together. At least we're starting to fall in the right direction for this stuff. So now when we update style and height and color and width, it will be random for whatever given object based off whatever we do, and this will be good. This will be good. Okay. Toasty, good morning. Is that simply a translation animation? What are you trying to achieve right now, anyways? Shouldn't you create a whole new element instead of just attaching a class? Whole new element. Kind of, possibly. I'm not sure. See, the issue here, to a degree, I think, in fact, you're probably mostly right, but I'm not even sure I understand exactly all of that. All I know in my mind, and again, my mindset is questionable. Let me refresh this. Also, I wish I should have set OBS up where you guys can see my mouse for this project. Right now I'm on the M of mouse position. When I click on it, it creates an object, and it's random. It's either in Topher's project or the example project, it's a square or a circle, but the size changes, the opacity changes, and the color changes, both for circles and squares, and they have different animations as well. So I'm trying to replicate that. So square on the M, there. There's a circle. Here's a different circle. See, different sizes, different colors, different opacity. The animation is the same for circles, but squares, as you see, float upwards. So with all that randomness involved for mine, this was mere, I was just trying to see if I could, you know, create or attach or get something to occur, happen, and connect the dots, just to make sure I've got all three files, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, working in tandem, which I forgot to add the period last night. So it was all failed, so I started chipping away at this noise today, because I didn't know what to focus on next. I didn't know if I needed to build out the animation path first, if I needed to build out the object first, but building out a fixed object in CSS didn't seem right, because these all need to change, just like they do over here. So I knew to set up the random stuff, I needed to kind of start to piece this together. But yeah, that's what I've been juggling. I didn't really know where to go, but I know the unknown and me figuring out is exactly the purpose of these projects, to come to terms with all this stuff. But yeah, so that's that. I see all kinds of comments and even a link, so I'm going to open Twitch. Thank you, Toasty, for the stuff and such. Let's see what exactly that stuff and such is. Okay, let's do this. Here we go. that. We can do clickety clack. Little kitty. Little kitty's playing some ball on the floor. She is like just running, darting back and forth, chasing this thing all around me. Like a pinball machine. Okay. HTML DOM create element method. Button. Yes, create an element. We've used create element before. I think we ended up creating paragraphs or some type of div or something. I'm drawing a blank on the project it was. God, I can't remember. Was it the number guessing game? Or the coin toss? Can't recall, but we've encountered create element. Yeah, I remember. I think we at least tested stuff out with creating paragraph elements. So continuing on, you were saying go through the steps of what you want to do. 1, you want to fetch a click. Yeah, we've got the click. So that's cool. Now let's go back. Maybe, am I able to refresh? Click. Yep, there's that. Okay. Oh, and with the create a new element, we'll want to keep doing that for that div. We'll want to keep, not even just for that div, we'll just want to keep creating other divs over and over. Okay, so we will need that. Yeah, we've got our sort of fetch. We've got our move, mouse movement, track our X and Y coordinates. Tiny cat, what are you doing? Felt her claws as she almost fell. Tiny cat, you need to move. Toasty is providing us good information right now and insight. Your hindquarters are, if you were to open my mouth, I could see the lamp. Yeah, let's move you. Are you going to the, you're assuming the napping position. You good? Yeah, you're good. Alright. What are we doing for? We are looking back at Toasty's comments. So, fetch a click, check. You want to create an element, and then you want to add some animation. Okay. So I guess we've been kind of following that path. We need to set up the create element portion, but we've been working on collecting the random stats and variables for our square and circle. So good. At least we're somewhat on the right trail. Alright, well that's comforting. Let's close out of that bit. We'll keep this up. Don't believe we need this. We really don't need mouse event. At least I don't think we need mouse event anymore. Again, this is what we're shooting for. Click and random, or the XY coordinates follow where the mouse is. Where we click creates the object, and it creates a random object each time with different stats and variables. Good. All we have for now is our test click with a single square, but we're getting there. We are getting there. Maybe I'm not as lost as I thought I was. Let's continue cleaning up this noise for at least circle and square. And in fact, we're gonna go big. We're gonna commit to not square but rectangle. Rectangle. and oval. Yeah. There you go. Exotic shapes, right? Didn't see that coming. So here, instead of the single height, copy, drop that in, our height, our width, get rid of that, object color. I think we'll just do a color array, but I also feel like we should be setting up some type of variable RGB schematic or random hex code or something. I really don't know what the easiest format is of generating or calling random numbers. I know a lot of the variation just comes or is due to the opacity, comes from the opacity changing. But there's so many shades of colors, it's definitely more than just like a list of 8, 10, 12 different colors that Topher set up. Here, I don't even know. I'll worry about setting up like a random RGB code, color code thing generator in a bit. Let's set height and width up here. Cut. You know what the other thing is? Height and width. It's just so much of, as I'm going about building this out, I see so much of it that can be consolidated into one thing. We could just do height and width. And if we're going to have height and width here for our oval, we could just have a shape formula and simplify that. It's almost like oval can live inside of rectangle. It's like we can set up an if statement or a switch case, and then the only thing we'd really be adding on, the only thing that's different between the rectangle and the oval random generation is the fact that ovals will get radius attached to it, so it's rounded. That's it. Everything else minus the animation, because then we'll have specific rectangle animation and we'll have specific oval animation. But as far as the objects themselves, it should be pretty damn straightforward. What time is it? God, I feel like we've just totally lost it. Maybe we're delirious because of the fact it's 1:09 a.m. Son of a bitch. It's okay. It's okay. We code late. We were doomed from the start. Gonna be good. Gonna be fine. Listen to Toasty. We've got our click event listener. We'll create an element. We need to create a div that we can pass all this noise to. I don't know if I should finish cleaning up the shapes. I think I should actually just come back to dealing with the shapes tomorrow. Kind of like how I knew I'd be able to come back later today and figure out the create shape fiasco. It was the missing period. Hopefully we'll be able to deal with this tomorrow midday instead of a late night stream, and maybe we will be of more sound mind, clear, level-headed thinking, not so delirious. So I think for now, let's just do the create an element. Okay. I want to create a div. That's what I want. Variable, document, something. And where and when will that happen? It will happen when we click, and we've got our click events tied to shape. So here, we will create a div, variable, create, equals, document, create, element, create. Can I just put div in there? God, I hope I can. Div. Yeah. Document create div. And then what? We need to follow down this path. That way we can attach. How are we gonna do this? This is awful. I feel like each one needs to have a random name. For example, random. Oh no, it can't be. It can't be. It can't start with a number. I don't think it can end with a number. And we're just creating a div element. I don't know, I think we're doomed. I think we've reached the point where we've just lost all control. Even though it's right here in front of us. Create a paragraph element and append it to a div. What if we create a div element and append it to a div element? Aha! We create a div element and append it to a div element. So we create this, attach it to the other div, document, get mint by ID, which is the shape div, append, create. Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Append. Child. Create. I know that's not quite 100% because we're going to need to figure out how to dump in the variables, but again, this is just kind of placeholder noise for me to further hone and polish tomorrow, and this is just kind of placeholder noise for me to further hone and append tomorrow. I think this is a step in the right direction. I think. Yeah. Let's go ahead. Aha! Hold on. Hold on. Wait a tick. Wait a tick. Variable t that gets appended to that. Variable t is, instead of create text node, document create text node, this cut will be variable something create. Pretty sure we have a variable shape somewhere else, but it's gonna work for now. Variable shape. We'll call it variable square. We've got a little more specific leverage with it. So we created a div. We have a variable square, which is document get element by ID shape, and it's adding a class list to shape. Ah, and it's the shape div. Shape. It's the shape. No. Let's call it. No. We're adding a div. God, it's so hard to think when your mind's exhausted. Jesus. 1:17 a.m. Why? No, this is wrong. You should be asleep. Power through, Steven. Sleep is for winners. Oh, I totally didn't even know it. Create an element, give it a class, move it into a position. Toasty's right. Create an element, give it a class, move it into a position. So, we create a div. Let's give it a class, which we're going to do. Since we're adding it into the div, we don't need to get the element anymore. We can add. And isn't add, it's different than the class list. It's like there's a remove class and add class. CSS, no, JavaScript. Add class. Pretty sure it is literally just that, add class. Oh. Add a remove class. Dot add class. Dot add class. And this create shape is our test shape here, the red square. Cool. So we've got create, which will make a new div. We have square, which will add a class to something. We need to add that to div. We can go back, document get dot get element by ID. This can now be div, as we have just created it. Div. We're going to add a class, create shape. Crap, but we've got other divs. Bitch. There's a right way and a wrong way to do this. This isn't There's a flaw in my logic. A flaw in my logic. Class name. I want to change the class name. That's what it is. Which I think was class list. I probably should just undo all of this and go back to having get element by ID, class list, and get element by ID. And for, I want to create a div. I need to give it a name. Toasty. 3, move it into a position. The create variable is your reference to the element. Add class is jQuery. The syntax. Damn. Document.getElement by ID is something like a search query. Every time you do that, you need it because you don't know the element yet. But you already have the element reference. It's the one you just created. So yes, I just created it. I do need to look for the one that I just created. Div. My concern is that it's going to add it to all the divs. But no, it's looking for that specific one. Shape. We created this. We're getting shape. That's what it is. We're adding this shape to this div, and we're creating a new div inside of it. I think that's what's happening now. That's not 100% what we need or want to happen. There's still more to come. We have to do the append child. So I think both this and this are duplicates. Because if this were shape, I'd be getting the element shape, and I'd be appending create to it. I've totally lost my... This is a dark day for Steven. We're so confused. It may just be too late to save us. Toasty. Document get element by ID. Something like a search query. Every time you do that, you need it because you don't know the element yet. But you already have the element reference. It's the one you just created. If you say a equals 1, what variable is 1? A. And if you say create my new document, my new element, sorry, what's the name for my new element? Create. So I need to add, it's closer to this one. I should get rid of this and use that for square. It kind of, but yes, yeah, I see. I'm just when I look at yours in the chat, that's what's going down. So how I need create and shape a mesh. Create is a new div, and it will put it inside shape, but I need to add the class list to have the red square show up. Toasty, create dot class list add shape. This, oh, wait, whoa. Hold on. Let me type that out. Create, which is this guy. I'm creating a new div within this. This will essentially go like this. Div, boom, and it makes something. So create triggers this. Okay. We're doing dot class list add. We have here class list add. And I'm adding shape. I'm adding shape, which is the class. I'm adding the name shape to it. Oh, wait. I think, actually, okay, and I know my code's all weird. I think it should be create shape. That way the square shows up. But yes, I agree. I agree. Don't worry about the child of any. Okay. So this should probably be create shape, which I'm going to change it to, that way it's not so fucking confusing, to literally red square. Ta-da! Let's do that. And we can change this to red square. This will be create div. The naming is awful. Toasty1, you're creating a new div, but it has no styling. True. You want it to have styling, that's why you add a class. Correct. Don't worry about making a childhood of anything. Your naming is horrible. Better, see? Yeah, everything's trash. It's just all awful. Let's get rid of this and that. Okay. Create div. See, this is why literal names are great. At least for me, because I can visualize it. Create div is a reference. It sounds like a method. Name it my new element or something, so it's obvious what it holds inside. Okay. My new element. Like so? Or my new shape. We can do my new shape. I like that. My new shape. Copy. My new shape is setting up a new div. Ta-da, here. This. Destroyed. When that runs, the my new shape bit will create a blank empty div, and then we need to give it or add to its class name list, class list, add red square, which will populate it with a red square inside this red square, right? Cool. Okay, so let's get rid of that for now. Save, save, save. Save, save, save. And oh, that was horrifying. Let's save this. Comment out this noise. There's that. Save, 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 save. We've already got our click event. Shape. This triggers. And that triggers. And we should, fingers crossed, end up with our new square. And then we get to rinse and repeat, but with way more data and information tomorrow following this path. Again, let's find out together. Dear God. Refresh. Here we go. Click. Sack of death. It was my fault, isn't it? I ruined something. Red square. New div. Red square. Damn, damn, damn. Gusty 42. What am I working on? Welcome. And currently it's a project based around mouse position, and when we click wherever we move the mouse, it'll track its position, but wherever we click, it will generate kind of a random object with random traits, color, opacity, size, and it will have a certain animation to it. That's kind of a hint at what's to come, but refresh. So this is our example project, X and Y coordinate. Right now, I don't think my cursor shows via OBS onto Twitch, but I'm on the M in mouse position, and I'm tracking right over to the end of position to letter N. Ta-da, see, so X moves, and then down from the O in position to the bottom of the screen in the center. But when we click, ta-da, random things, and it's where I click and where it tracks the mouse and where I click in the window, it generates an object at that spot with various varying traits, random colors, size, opacity, and whatnot. Circles for the example project, if we can get one. A lot of squares, square hell, stack of here we go. Circles kind of bounce and float to the bottom center of the screen in this example project, and as you see, squares spin upwards. So I am trying to replicate something similar. Yes. Good times. Toasty. He's... oh god, it's so late. I can't even read your comment. He's programming... I can't even say it. He's programming some square stuff for NASA, but he's humble. We're just confused. We're lost and confused, and it's late. What time is it now? Oh my god, it's 1:34 a.m. Why? Why? It should not be this late. We should not be learning or trying to do anything right now. Death? Document create element. A div. we've got my shape. We're adding to that class list red square. Did we get the spelling wrong? Red square is a class. It is indeed a class. We've got our click for the shape function. What else could be missing? Gusty42. It's 3:34 here. Dear God, you're dedicated. This all feels. What could possibly be missing from that little bit? We've got our div that we're going to be creating. Maybe it's the placement of it. It's the placement of it. That's what it is, isn't it? I need to have... I bet you when I click, it is creating it somewhere, but it's not creating it where it needs to go. I need to have the div inside. I need to... I need to append this to the shape div. I need to make it its child so it shows up in here like this div. Okay. So how do I tell it to append that to the following? Toasty, exactly. Okay, good. But now, okay, so, and I had it before. Of course, I deleted the code that was set up previously to create there is the append child method. I got that, but what am I appending to what? That's... So I want document get element by ID shape. So instead of para, it will be document get element by ID shape. This, aha, down here, damn it. That's exactly what we wanted. Like so. Copy, parent, append, child. Document get element by ID shape is over here. Ta-da, that's the parent. This will be our child, which I guess we can turn... My spidey senses tell me that I should turn this into a variable. But I could be wrong. Like variable square. See, I don't know if I'd put in square to here, or if it would be reference my new shape. Copy. It's just my new shape is just this, an empty div. Versus where is my new shape, all of this, but with the classless, with the class of red square added, which the class of red square has this tied to it. I'm pretty sure it's this square down here. That seems less wrong. After 325 days, this seems more comforting. All right, there we go. D. wait a second, Toasty. There's a method, a pile, not a pile, append. Toasty, there is a method append child. Parent.append child. What's the element? Well, the element is my shape. Crap, maybe it is my new shape. I'll try it with square, and then I'll try it with my new shape as well. Gusty, what the fuck is behind you? Alien girlfriend, that's why you got the job. No kidding or offense. That, the body moving in the darkness is my, is my fiance. She's sleeping again because it's 1:41 a.m. Dear God. Let's test this and land this bird. Oh God. Dusty, what job, Toasty, at the NASA office? Dear God. Yes. Exactly the case. Too damn funny. Okay. Save. Okay, let's do this. Refresh. Click. Okay, clearly we pissed him off. Uncaught type error. Failed to execute append child on node parameter 1. It is not of type node at shape 30. Here, we're clearly pissing off a lot of people. So let's try my new shape. New shape. Frustrating to society. Save. And refresh. You know what? Watch this. This is what needs to happen. Cut. Ta-da! There's that, and this, and that. That's what's going on. We make my new shape. That's a thing. We know it will create a div. But we're going to also do document get element by ID shape, and we will append the new empty div, and also we'll create a new variable. I don't even think it needs to be a new variable at this point, but just the fact that it's happening below it, we'll have my new shape, class list, add red square. Ta-da! We can even get rid of the variable portion, I think. Save. Refresh. Click. We did it! Hot damn! Holy shit! Can you believe that? It's 1:43 a.m. Somehow, in our state of delirium, Toasty was able to guide us through this labyrinth of confusion. Oh man, Toasty, that's impressive. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that Topher does, guiding us through the nonsense on the edge of insanity. I think this is your greatest feat yet. Good for you, man. As impressive as it is, and that's the other thing that I'm shocked about. As impressive as oh my God, we can't think. We gotta land this bird. We're headed downhill quick, but we survived. Look, we'll relive it, refresh, and we'll click. Ta-da! Dee. Oh my God, it's building with every click. Are you guys seeing this? And click, and click, and click. Holy shit! Little kitty. Oh, little kitty sleeping in my lap. It's working. It's working. This was totally worth it. Oh my God. Click. Look at that. 2 pages worth. We exceeded the window. Oh my God. Hot damn. Ladies and gentlemen, we did something. We coded a thing. Wow. That was totally worth it. What was I saying? I don't even remember. Oh, as impressed as I am that we were able to make it through all the confusion, I always find it so much more fascinating that others on the outside, Toasty and Topher and the many others that are able to convey assistance to a crazy person like myself that leads to progress. Oh, that's so cool. Unfreaking believable. We did it. Guess what? I can keep clicking. Ah, God. Simple minds, simple pleasures. Fan freaking tastic. I think now is due time to end this nightmare. Day 325 shockingly ends on a high note. We came out alive. Let's go ahead and close out this noise. Let's commit and push this stuff to GitHub because we can. GitHub in the house. Okay. Keep it together, Steven. Keep it together. Let's jump over to OBS. Kraken. Open GitHub. Wow, that was intense. That was unexpected. What did we even do? Jesus. I didn't even know how to we added JavaScript stuff. Set up create element. Set up create element. That's what we did. Install, copy, golden, commit, and push. Good time. There we go. Let's close out of that noise. Lock that out. And verify everything's golden. D. Mouse position, blah blah blah. Beautiful. Fantastic. Way cool. Thank you. Oh, wait, hold on. Couple more comments. Toasty, have a good night. Of course, you too. Toasty, hint for next stream. Shape function receives an event parameter with the mouse position inside. I'm gonna save that. Okay. There. I did a screenshot because we got chat on our phone, so for your comment, golden. Hint for next stream. We can all relive it together. Hint for next stream. Shape function receives an event parameter. Yeah. And parameter. Crap, don't add it now. With the mouse position, just like so, with coordinates inside. Noted. Cool. We will save that noise for tomorrow. Let's go ahead and back out of this into OBS. Thank you again to anyone and everyone who stopped by to view the stream. Today, we had a huge help and assistance and guidance from Toasty. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. We also had Gusty42. Thank you for stopping by, hanging out. And also to anyone else who may have accidentally stumbled in here to view the stream. Any and all views are greatly appreciated. Day 325 comes to an end. However, the adventure continues tomorrow with day 326 of the year of streaming and learning to code. Only 40 more days to go. Yeah, and then we're done with this nightmare. Pretty impressive, at least by my standards. So good times. Let's go ahead and stop the stream. Are you sure you want to stop the stream? Hell yeah. Kill it.